The Champions League is back! Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome to another video. Yes, the Champions League is set to resume tonight after obviously its break from the group stages to the knockout stages. Tonight, the round of 16 stage commences and we have got a couple of big games that are going off. We're going to be talking about the entirety of this round of fixtures. We're going to be talking about Manchester City against Copenhagen. We're going to be talking about Real Madrid against Leipzig, Lazio, Bayern Munich, PSG, Sociedad. Incredible that Sociedad made it through the way that they did. Incredible that that game that has in store for us. Inter versus Atletico, PSV, Borussia Dortmund, Porto taking on Arsenal, and of course Napoli against Barcelona. Big games, intriguing ones, and we're going to be going through them in this video here today. But before we go any further and talk about the Champions League, hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new and want to see more content like this. Both things always are very greatly appreciated. And as always, get involved in the comment section. Get involved in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings on the Champions League, on the games that are set to be played in a round of 16 stage. All of that good stuff. Let me know what you have to tell me down below. People would love to hear from you all. So without further ado, let's get into the Champions League draws. Look, let me just say first and foremost, I don't see necessarily any major shocks on the horizon. I think this is a round that is pretty much set as a big underdog against the main favourite for the most part, that is. I'm sure there are one or two of these fixtures that are a little bit closer to call than some might think. But, for example, the game we're going to start off with is the game tonight. Copenhagen against Manchester City. City should go through that comfortably. Is there any real need for us to really talk about it? Of course, these are going to be played over 2 legs. Is there really any much need to go over it? With all due respect to Copenhagen, yes, they may be able to get something at home. They may be able to take the game into a bit of a, I don't know, a bit of a draw going into the second leg. But do I see any hope of Copenhagen making it through to the next round of the competition against the current holders that are Manchester City, that are going from strength to strength right now? They're playing them at a horrible time in which City are picking up a head of steam, a lot of momentum and a huge bit of form. I don't see Copenhagen making it out of this one. This one's pretty open and shut for me. Manchester City are going to be making it through, and they have the very big opportunity to make it through at the first time of asking. Maybe they could actually get the job done in the first leg and then have the second leg just carried out as a bit of a formality. City to go through is my prediction for Copenhagen versus Manchester City, with all due respect to Copenhagen. Next up, RB Leipzig against Real Madrid. Again, this one should be more favouring Real Madrid, but you never can tell. Leipzig, of course, are always outsiders in these types of scenarios, and that's exactly what we've got here. Leipzig as another outsider against Real Madrid. It'll be big for Leipzig to take on such a big player in this tournament in terms of Real Madrid, and obviously Carlo Ancelotti's got a lot on his hands to focus on. I'm sure there'll be some interesting players for us to watch. I'm sure it'll be much more interesting than, of course, the Copenhagen-Manchester City one, with all due respect to both of those clubs. But this one may have a little bit more spice added to it, a little bit more competition, and maybe a few more players that maybe are worth checking out, particularly on the Leipzig end of things rather than the Real Madrid side. So, could be a very interesting fixture for all other reasons, but one that you would definitely expect Real Madrid to get through over the course of 2 legs. So, Real Madrid to go through for me. Lazio Bayern Munich is next up on the agenda, and again, Bayern Munich to go through is pretty much open and shut. With all due respect to Lazio, and I know that they're not to be completely underestimated by any stretch of the imagination, Bayern Munich tend to absolutely demolish the competition until we get to the quarter-final stages, when it gets a bit more interesting, and that's where I see Bayern Munich heading next, the quarter-final stages. Not to say that that is anything to go off, but of course, following that big defeat to Leverkusen at the weekend, Bayern will want a response. And unfortunately, it's my duty to say that Lazio may be the wrong team at the wrong place at the wrong time. So I see it being a pretty big goals fest as far as what Bayern Munich are concerned across both legs. And I think that Bayern will get the job done against Lazio, against the Italian outfit in this one. PSG Sociedad. Now, this one might actually be a very interesting game to call. You probably would expect PSG to be the favourites going into this one, but Sociedad did very well to get through in their group and done extremely well to make it through to this stage of the competition. And they are rewarded by going up against the oil-rich French outfit known as PSG, Paris Saint-Germain. Now, Kylian Mbappe will obviously be wanting and trying to drive his team towards what would be an incredible triumph in the Champions League this season. Could be his final season for PSG, so he might want to leave them on a high note. This is a very dangerous game for the PSG though. It's a very favourable one, but it's a very dangerous one. This one is one of them ones that could go any which way. It genuinely could. There always seems to be a team every year that seems to achieve much better than what they were expected. They seem to overcome the odds and they seem to do better than what anybody gave them any credit for. Sociedad could be that team this year. And if they get a favourable draw, there isn't anything that could stop them from going far in this competition. PSG currently stand in their way. Many people would probably predict PSG to get through in this game, but I don't think it's as easy as that. And I don't think it's as easy to call as what that may be. I'm intrigued by this game. I'm very much intrigued by this game. I know Sociedad have a few decent players within their ranks. I know that obviously PSG have got the usual suspects in Kylian Mbappe, and I know they're going through this transition period under Luis Enrique right now. But it is going to be a very interesting one. It is going to be a very intriguing battle. One that I'm still a little bit undecided on. But if I had to call it out right now, oh no. I'll go with PSG just. I'll go with PSG, but only just right now. This one could come back to bite me. But I think PSG might just have a bit more firepower than what Sociedad have, and that's why I'm going to go with PSG just. But I think this is going to be a very intriguing battle across both legs, and one that I would strongly suspect isn't going to be as foregone a conclusion as what many people might think. So, Sociedad, with all due respect, could go far, and if they do, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they get past PSG here, but at the same time, my prediction lies with PSG. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes. Inter Milan against Atletico Madrid is our next game of focus. And I'm going for... Again, this one could be another difficult one. What we've seen of Inter last year was obviously an Inter side that was strong. That was a little bit deceptive. I thought they were weaker than what they were. They got a favourable tie, in all honesty, in the run to the final. But they were better than what I gave them credit for, admittedly. And obviously, with them getting to the final, that has obviously proven point there. Atletico Madrid should get the job done. I probably would expect Atletico across both legs to get the job done, especially with the second leg being at home for them. So I am probably going to give Atletico just the edge in this one. But Inter have been going strong this season, and Inter have been pretty solid throughout most of the campaign. So I wouldn't be surprised if Inter go through, but I think Atletico, with the second leg being at home, I think they'll just about get the job done. So we are starting to get a bit more into the difficult games to predict now, but I've gone with Atletico just. I think they're set up well. I think they're solid for the most part, and I think obviously they are very experienced in this under the Diego Simeone style of play, of course. PSV Dortmund, I would expect Dortmund to go through. It's not that I don't respect Dutch sides very much. It's just that I just think in the overall grand scheme of this game, I think Dortmund will have too much quality for them. I think the likes of the caliber of players that Dortmund have, I would strongly suspect Dortmund to go through in this one. So this one may be, again, one of the more easier games to predict. That isn't to ever count anything as a foregone conclusion and to discount PSV right off the bat here. But I would strongly expect Dortmund to get through, and if they don't, it is a bit of an upset in my opinion. Same with Arsenal against Porto. Arsenal will be away from home for the first leg, but I would strongly suspect Arsenal to get the job done by any means necessary against Porto. Might be a bit of a difficult one, being away from home first leg, but I think if they are to get a solid enough, as long as they don't lose it, I think in Portugal, they should have everything in their favour going into the game at the Emirates for the second leg to get the job done and to obviously progress to the quarterfinals of this competition. Arsenal to get the job done in a very simple or pretty much more comfortable way is what I would be predicting in this one. And finally, Napoli against Barcelona. Look, the first leg is in Napoli, so it's obviously going to be a big Champions League night for people for people associated with Napoli. Big Champions League night. I'll have a big Champions League feel to it. And of course, the second leg being at Barcelona is going to be big anyway. Of course, there's a lot of history between these two, a lot of history themselves, and obviously there's going to be a massive game and prospect across both legs in this one. I'm leaning more towards Barca, only just. They haven't been great this season, might stretch the imagination, but the Champions League is like their last resort for them. And I think Napoli haven't been exactly great either. They haven't been as fluid as what we have known them to be these past few years. They haven't been as dangerous and as lethal as we know them to be in these past few years. They've had a very big opportunity last season to make it through to the final of this competition and they bottled it. I just think the pressure got to them then. I think the pressure will get to them now, and I see Barcelona making it through. But again, this one is another one which is sort of 50-50, and I won't be surprised which way this one goes. So while some are more easy to call than others, there are a few here that are very intriguing, and I would love to know your predictions on. I've gone with Barcelona for their game against Napoli. I just think they may have just a bit more quality than Napoli and may be able to hold their nerve a bit more, and especially with the likes of Robert Lewandowski up front, I think that he will definitely come to the forefront in this one and put Napoli to the sword. But those are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, most of all, of course, predictions of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of the Champions League that is returning? What do you make of the Champions League as a whole? What do you make of the round of 16 stage, which is about to kick off tonight? As Copenhagen and Manchester City go head-to-head, and of course Leipzig and Real Madrid are going to be clashing as well. I'd love to know what you guys think and feel, your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. We'll wait for great interest in reading, I'm sure, down below, so do get involved down there. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way up if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new and want to see more content like this. Both things are always and very greatly appreciated, and of course, as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch, this has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see you all again soon in another video, or live stream, or whatever it may be. Cheers guys, thanks everyone for stopping by and watching. Take care, have a good rest of your night. I'll speak to you all again very soon.